Hi. Hi. Really? Um,
There we go. Is that the right way around for you?
no, because I see. Oh,
Oh, I can hear you now.
okay, perfect.
Yeah, something's working now.
Uh-huh. It's so funny. Alexander, thank you very much for doing this. And I'm just saying in advance if there will be some technological issues, please just bear with us, and hopefully we will cut the video in good way and still will make it okay. So first of all,
Sure.
could you introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm Alexander MacDonald. I'm the CEO behind HindSight, an innovative cycling technology company um, trying to change the way the world cycles by making cyclists feel safer, by increasing their situational awareness, helping them know more about what's happening around them, and helping them make smarter decisions.
Sounds amazing. And you started your company around 3 years ago.
Yeah, more or less. That's when we came up with the core concept. It took us quite a long time to really hone in on what it is we wanted to do. The problem is what caused me to start the company. I was a cyclist in London at the time, and I was getting the term in cycling is close past, which is where a bike or sorry, a car comes past your bike far closer than it really should do, and that kind of knocks you to the side or puts you in a very dangerous position as a cyclist. And I thought we needed a good solution to this problem. I looked at what was available. Nothing was really working that well. And as a result, we ended up at Hindsight.
Mm-hmm. So first of all, I wanted to say that it's very, very needed, I think, product on the market, because myself, I'm terrible cyclist, but recently I realized I really like it. So, but I can't do like cycling on roads because I'm afraid,
No
scared.
time for it.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm scared of cars and especially
Yeah, absolutely.
buses around. So what usually I do, I use how do you call it, like pathway for people. So I don't cycle on roads because I'm really scared, but I don't think it's the right way to do
Yeah.
it. And I think you can even get fine, right, for cycling on pathway.
Yes, you can. It's £40 if on the spot from my last memory. If you get caught by the police, they'll give you a £40 fine, unless they think you look under 12 years old, in which case you'll get away with it. But it's quite hard to do as an adult. Wouldn't recommend it.
Sad. Yes, so that's the problem, and I definitely think your product needed. Tell me more about your product. How does it help people to reduce such problems and avoid troubles?
Sure. So it's a pretty simple concept. We effectively realized that all other vehicles on the road are actually required by law to have rear view mirrors. So if you're out driving your car and you're missing one or two of your mirrors, then it's against the law for you to actually drive, and that's true for every road vehicle apart from bikes. And my thought was, if this is considered so important to all other road users that it's illegal not to have it, then why don't cyclists have anything which is effective and works well? So we decided to take the concept of rear view mirrors and see how we could integrate them into something which cyclists would actually use in their day-to-day lives.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we ended up settling on sunglasses as the main driver, the main area.
Mm-hmm.
So we spent some time refining our concept, building out the model, and we ended up building a mathematical model to work out the optimal area to place the rear view mirror with respect to the eye, because obviously a mirror that's close to your eye has to be very different from a mirror which is way ahead of you on your car or way up in your rear view mirror area. And once we had that mathematical model established, we started building around that to make sunglasses which also looked good as well as working as intended. So the glasses feature patent pending technology which is built into the angled lens. So that fundamentally allows you to have the optimal rear field of view. So a lot of people think that this must block your vision somehow, because how can you have something built into the glasses which doesn't block your vision?
Mm-hmm.
But the glasses actually sit in your periphery, so they're out to the side of you, and it's the mirrored sections are actually mostly transparent. So this allows you to kind of choose where you want to be looking with the focal point of your eye. You can choose to look straight ahead, or you can choose to look to the side, turn your head 5 degrees, and you can see everything that's behind you. And because you're using a different part of your eye, you can actually see significantly more. So if you're cycling normally and you're scared about a bus coming behind you, or one thing that you probably may have been surprised by, which most people don't think of these days, is electric cars, because they're silent.
They're
You can
absolutely
almost not hear them
silent.
coming up behind you, so they
It's
very
so
quickly.
terrible. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. So before you know it, one of them is just there, and you've been startled and you don't know what to do or how to react, and that can cause issues. So with the looking back classically, as we call it, i.e., over the shoulder, that comes with a lot of drawbacks as we consider it. So the fundamental way that we look at it is every second you're not looking forward, every second you're looking behind is a second you're not looking forward. And that's something that we think needs to be more firmly addressed. With our technology, you can quite simply turn your head 5 degrees, keep your peripheral vision pointing
Mm-hmm.
forward. So if a pedestrian walks into the street or something in the road ahead of you changes, you can still know about it and react, but you're also able to choose to see behind you at the same time as maintaining that degree of forward vision. So that's the fundamental operation of the product.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty simple. It's quite hard to describe how it works overall. By far the best results we've had is just giving somebody a pair and then they get them on and they instantly get it.
Yeah.
We've never failed to have somebody understand it, and even people who are less experienced cyclists don't really have any difficulty getting to grips with this stuff. So I gave it to a friend of mine who doesn't really do any cycling. She does maybe once or twice every couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
But I gave her the glasses, she put them on, and within 10 paces, she understood what was going on. She could immediately track what was happening behind. And we did a little test. We were cycling through the meadows, and I was sitting 20 feet behind her. And I asked her, how many fingers am I holding up? And every single time she was able to tell me exactly how many fingers I was holding up just by turning her head this much, looking here, whilst maintaining everything straight ahead of her. So
That's
yeah,
amazing.
they do work, and they work really well.
Yes, it sounds amazing. And what the progress of the product development? Where do you produce your products? Is it produced locally or you outsource it somewhere?
Sure. So most of the stuff that we do is done here in Scotland. One of our long-term partners is Hemp Eyewear. They've run a few successful Kickstarter campaigns themselves, and they have done quite a lot of innovative stuff. They've come up with a unique methodology to heat treat and manufacture sunglasses made out of this renewable, sustainable hemp material.
Hmm.
And we really like them. They've helped us a lot. They've been really, really helpful in our design process. So our top end models are all produced by them.
Mm-hmm.
The lenses are produced on mainland Europe, not at liberty to say exactly where just now. But because our lenses are pretty unique, it took us a long time to find a partner who was able to manufacture the
Mm-hmm.
lenses that we have, because they are fundamentally unique. It's been quite a challenge to really get to the stage we're at just now with regards to getting the manufacturing lined up. But now we've got partners who are capable of doing it, and who are, just a few countries away, which globally speaking is not far at all.
Where is it? Sorry, I missed it. Italy, you said?
They're based in mainland Europe. I can't say exactly where just now
Oh,
until we've finalized all the contracts.
oh, okay, okay, no worries. But what about this coronavirus situation? Do you feel it's as a distraction, or you don't see it impact on your
Yeah.
company?
Well, I mean, it's obviously had an impact on absolutely everybody.
True.
It's had a few negative impacts, and it's had other impacts. I mean, we were planning on having probably 20 to 50 pairs of glasses
Mm-hmm.
that were effectively production ready to be sent out to people to test. So they'd be
Mm-hmm.
going out to journalists, they'd be going out to influencers, they'd be going out to people, because fundamentally the best responses we've had from people is after they try them. It goes way further for us to give somebody a pair of glasses and for them to just understand it immediately than it does for us to try and explain how it works. So that was our game plan for the launch date. And then the COVID situation really escalated, and all of the people who were making our prototypes shut down completely, possibly forever.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's really stunted our ability to deliver that. So we're really having to double down on the messaging and on our explanations, which we were hoping not to have to do, because we were hoping we'd have enough glasses so that they could speak for themselves. But unfortunately, that's not the case. So we're having to work a lot harder to try and make people understand the benefits, because we're having to do it through explanation and through visuals, as opposed to just letting people get their hands on the product and understand it, which is obviously a step or two further removed. That being said, a lot more people are currently cycling, certainly than I've ever seen before. I mean, the UK's just announced £2 billion for cycling infrastructure. And that's great. That's a great thing to happen. It's a shame it took a global pandemic for it to happen, but it's about time that something like this happened. And we kind of fit in very well into this current situation, because so many people are now cycling that weren't before, and they're cycling on uncharacteristically quiet roads. And that's great. We want people who are not as confident, much like yourself, who are not that confident on the bikes, to be out there when there's not much traffic on the roads, where you can get an idea and a feel for what it's like to operate in traffic. We feel that our technology fits in, our glasses fit in to allow you to take that next step. So when the quarantine is lifted and lockdown is over, and you're interacting on a day-to-day basis with traffic, HindSight glasses will allow you to do so in a more competent and a more aware fashion. You can decide to be proactive. You can know when somebody's going to overtake you, instead of just, listening particularly carefully, or you can know what type of vehicle, for example, is going to overtake you. There are certain types of vehicle, I won't name names. There are certain types of vehicle which are known to be more aggressive. And if you have our glasses, then you can see them coming 3 blocks away. Well, maybe not 3 blocks away, but quite a lot further than you could with the classic turning of the head. And that amount of information that cyclists are going to be able to have when they have our technology in their hands and on their face is something we really think is going to be quite revolutionary in terms of how people operate safely on a mixed road where both traffic and cyclists are operating.
That sounds like something definitely needed right now in the market. What about, I know that you have a Kickstarter campaign. I checked your progress, it's going very well, and I was wondering, so basically what normal people like I am can help you at this moment, and what we can get for the Kickstarter to help you with this project.
Sure. So yeah, the Kickstarter has been live for 1 day, and we've raised 25% of our target goal, which is pretty good.
It's amazing.
We're pretty happy with our progress. We've been mentioned in a few major articles. Some of the biggest cycling magazines in the UK have picked us up to run stories on us. Obviously, us being partnered with the Olympian Callum Skinner, he's on our team. He's in all of our videos. You can see him more on our Kickstarter. But he's been integral to helping us kind of get the awareness that we were wanting to raise around this project. And in terms of what's available on the Kickstarter, we're selling 3 variants of our product. So we're selling one which is made available in a classic sport plastic, much like existing cycling eyewear. It's very similar materials, but with our unique patent pending technology in them. And then we have 2 variations made from our friends at Hemp Eyewear. One which is a kind of a pure hemp look, which is a very distinctive feature, and that's our eco-friendly sustainable model. And then we have another second hemp model, which has a final finish of plastic on the outside, for those who want an eco-friendly option, but don't necessarily want it to look like the hemp material. So all 3 of those are currently live on the Kickstarter. Depending on when people get there, they will be able to access different tiers of the product, as it were. So effectively, Kickstarter works in a tiered system. The first people to get there can buy the product for the least price. So if you go on now, you go on today, whilst we're still at the early stages, you can still get what's called our super early bird deal. So that's the cheapest available. That's up to 40% off the recommended retail price, which is an absolute steal. Yeah. So I would highly recommend everybody go check them out. And then as those are available in limited quantities, and as those quantities disappear, the tiers evaporate, and all of a sudden the prices go up. I think it varies between 5 and 10% increase per tier. So basically, those who act quickly and support the project from the ground up get themselves an absolute steal. And if you want to come later, even the final tiers that we release on the Kickstarter will still be significantly lower than the final retail price. And we've done this basically because we want to try and get people behind us as high as possible.
Yeah, it sounds fascinating. So the earlier you buy product through Kickstarter, the cheaper you get it. And what kind of products you can buy through the platform right now?
So just now we've got the three tiers, as I mentioned before, with the three models we have. So there's the sports, the hemp, and what we're calling the hemp core. So there's all three of those models available. And then there's also a special collector's edition for enthusiasts who really like the product. So if you buy that tier, then you get a special part of our original prototype with a little bit of the story of HindSight. And then there's a super backer tier for people who really love cycling. And that will get you a pair of the glasses of your choosing and a day of cycling with myself and with the world's fastest cyclist, Callum Skinner. So we'll go cycling somewhere around Scotland for that.
Oh, wow. Sounds fun.
So that's our Olympic experience.
That's amazing. Are you good in cycling?
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't describe myself as competitively good. Certainly not on the scale as Callum is. I used to do a lot of cycling. I used to drive a tricycle, a rickshaw, the pedicabs. I used to do that in Edinburgh. So I'd cycle 40 to 70 kilometers a night, 2 days a week with 3 tourists in the back around Edinburgh's famous hills. Mm-hmm. So lots of cycling, but not so much anymore now that I'm running this company.
So where this idea came from? Is it how all this started?
Well, I mean, it started just from the near misses in London. Really, it came out of necessity. I was needing to know more of what was happening around me to operate safely on the road, and I tried what solutions were available, and frankly, they just weren't good enough. So we decided to build something ourselves, and then that led us to where we are today.
Perfect. What about this connection you have? Did it build up during the work on your startup, or you already had this contacts? How all this was organized?
The contact with Callum?
Yes, for example.
Well, so Callum's the main network source that we've been using for the company. He happens to be a friend of mine from school.
Oh, wow.
Which is very, very, very fortunate. So I came up with this idea when I was in London. At that time, all we had was some concept art. We didn't have any of the mathematical tooling behind it. But I just sent Callum a message saying, "Hey, I've had this idea. Would you like to be involved?" And he said he really liked it. He thought it had potential. He thought it was a useful solution to the problem that cyclists all have. And he'd be happy to help us in any way, shape, or form. And then eventually we ended up bringing him on board not full time, but bringing him on board as brand ambassador, which is now his current position. So he effectively promotes us and acts on our behalf. So for example, today we're going to be doing an Ask Me Anything on Reddit, where people can ask Callum anything and everything about his Olympic cycling career. So if you guys want to check in and ask us some questions, feel free. We'll be there at 5 p.m. British time, which is 12 p.m.
5 p.m.
US Eastern time. We're also going to be hosting a Facebook live stream at some point. That's probably going to be tomorrow, where I think we're going to do one each. Callum's going to jump on and ask the more sporty related questions, and we're going to have another one where I'm doing a live stream where I'm asking the more commutery side. I'm answering the more commutery side questions, or we might both do them at once. We're going to see. We're going to check our calendars and see which we can do.
That's really cool. So this Kickstarter campaign, for how long is it going to be on the platform?
Sure, it's a 30-day campaign. So it runs from the 12th of May to the 11th of June. So 30 days in which we need to raise our capital. So we're aiming for £30,000. And And of course, like all good Kickstarter campaigns, we're hoping to raise more. So the more the merrier. We're hoping that our product shows enough value that cyclists are going to want to tell their friends about it, and hopefully we can convert people who will convert others, and then we can kind of really grow the campaign, which is one of the reasons we're pushing so hard on all of our social media and all of our digital marketing. We want to really make as much of an impact as we can, and to further that, we're also speaking to other cyclists of note, who I'm not allowed to talk about at the moment, but you may be seeing some posts from some pretty well-known members of the cycling community in the next couple of weeks about HindSight.
I will be looking forward to see it. So if you don't mind, we will move to Blitz round. So Blitz round is just 5 short questions, and the shorter you can ask, the better. What does entrepreneurship means to you?
To me, entrepreneurship is...
What is the most important in life?
Not accepting the status quo, really. All the entrepreneurs I know, they saw a problem and they had the drive to try and fix it. And I think that's something that's true for all entrepreneurs. They're problem solvers and they're fixers, and they've got the drive to try and get it done.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What is the most important in life?
What's most important in life?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. That's I thought it was supposed to be some short, easy questions. I didn't bring my philosophy textbook. Fundamentally, I'd say it's going to have to come down to people and relationships. I mean, if there's one thing that we've certainly found true, it's that people are quite often more often than not willing to help people, and that just certainly makes life a lot easier if you've got a good network of people around you. And you've got people who care about how well you do and who you can rely on when things get tough, and who you can thank when those tough times are over. So I'd say fundamentally, yeah, just having good people around you is a good place to start.
Definitely. So how do you see yourself in 5 years?
I see myself in 5 years. Hopefully running a very big cycling eyewear company.
Ew.
That's my plan.
And next question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where are you planning to live?
I'm not sure. I don't think I've explored enough to be able to say I'm happy with any particular place to, as it were, visit. I'd quite like to spend some more time in the US. I've only been there briefly a couple of times, and it has so many different options within it. I'd say the US would be a good place to move, and any big company, when they start to take off, does try and set down roots in the US. So I can see myself being there when that happens, if all goes to plan with HindSight.
And the last question, what is your dream?
Aside from doing this, I do some amateur musician stuff. I play piano and I play guitar, and I've always wanted to own a Steinway grand piano since I was about 14, I think. Unfortunately, they cost a staggering amount of money, so it's not likely to happen anytime soon. But I'd say that's been at the top of my list for quite a long time. So getting my hands on a Steinway grand piano is probably going to stay there for a while on top of my list. They're not small either, so it's going to be a bit of a challenge. But I think we can get there.
Alexander, thank you very much for doing this, and it's amazing that technology allows us still be in touch during this
absolutely
crazy times. Thank you very much for your time. It was a fantastic interview, and I'm really excited about your project. So I wish you the best and have a lovely day. And guys, please follow HindSight on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and personal Alexander MacDonald, amazing surname, by the way, LinkedIn. If you have any questions or you want to get a pair of glasses, check HindSight. And stay tuned for more interviews with Scottish entrepreneurs which are coming our way. Bye, guys.